Darren, it's me, and I'm here to say that it's not all doom and gloom for the Tories after a set of particularly bruising local election results. Now, it is absolutely for sure that there'll be many Tories, many Tory activists up and down the country licking their wounds after a particularly wounding set of local election results. But I'm here to say that it's not actually as bad as it looks, because if we look at the votes extrapolated onto the national picture, it actually shows just a 10 or 11% lead for the Labour Party. If we look at what's happened in London, Susan Hall lost to Sadiq Khan, but actually by a much smaller margin than what the national polling picture says. So could the polls actually be wrong, and could the race for the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom actually be much tighter than we initially thought? Benjamin Butterworth. What do you make of this? Because polls nationally are putting the Labour Party 20-plus points ahead of the Conservative Party. But if we look at what's happened in the local elections, yes, the Tories have lost hundreds of councillors, that's absolutely true. But if we look at the actual margin between them, it's about 10 or 11%. So much closer than we thought initially.
You know, God loves a trier, so good on you. You've made the effort. You know, I was reading today, actually, that in 1996, when the Tories had terrible results, the Tory line was, oh, the public don't really like Tony Blair. You're hearing a lot of the same things about Keir Starmer. It's just trying to excuse it. Now, look, the facts of this is, as Professor Sir John Curtis, the oracle of psephology, always says, local elections are actually quite hard to copy and paste onto national ones. So if you look at the results, if it's 10 or 11% by the end of counting, as it will be later today or maybe tomorrow, then that would mean it's a bigger margin than we saw in last year's local elections. And if you look at where the seats, where the wards have shifted, they're very well targeted. So you've got Redditch, you've got Rushmore, you've got Milton Keynes. What you're seeing is middle-class areas, Conservative areas, and most of all, Leave voting areas having the biggest shifts from Tory to Labour. And so if you actually put that onto a general election, I think you would, you know, it still looks very positive for the Labour Party.
I just want to get up some footage earlier on from Sadiq Khan's victory speech here in London, where he was actually heckled as he was giving his victory speech. We're going to get those images for you right now.
It's Londoners who inspire me every day to continue our mission of building a fairer, safer and greener London. And in what I hope will be a year of great change, a future Labour government led by Keir Starmer working with us in City Hall.
So there was an actual heckling that went on. I believe it's from the Britain First party, which actually got fewer votes in the London mayoral election than Count Binface, who we saw behind Sadiq Khan there. I mean, what do you make, Darren, of Britain First allegedly heckling Sadiq Khan?
Well, I mean, I don't really care who's doing it. We'll just see the actual heckle, because we didn't have it in that video.
Khan killed London! Khan killed London!
So, I mean, you say that's Britain. I don't know if that's Britain First. Is it Britain First?
Well, he's got the rosette on, so you assume so.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't care who's heckling him. I just know that I would do exactly the same thing in that scenario.
You would have heckled Sadiq Khan
Oh, I
at
absolutely
that speech.
would have, yeah.
Why?
I think that man is a divisive disgrace to this nation.
But do you not think, in a democratic society, if someone has won the popular vote, then
in
that's
a democratic
what
society, I'm free to tell that man what a loathsome creature I think he is.
And what do you think if it is Britain First that's heckled him?
I don't care who it is.
I don't think it matters who it is, Albie. I mean, it's Britain First. You'd find plenty of non-Britain First people who would also heckle Sadiq Khan.
Would they have heckled if Susan Hall won?
Sorry?
Would they have heckled if Susan Hall won?
The lefties would have done.
Probably not.
Definitely.
No, I mean, look, you know...
His lot was saying that the fascists and racists were voting for Susan Hall. West Street and tweeted something to
the thing about free and fair democratic elections is that when you stand up and get the results, that's the consequence of the people. And so someone who's trying to heckle or shout, regardless of the reason or targeted at whom, what they're trying to do is distort their voice. You know, the people have voted for Sadiq Khan with a swing to the Labour Party.
Fleur, are you enjoying the carnage?
Well, I don't actually live in London right now, but I spend so much time here. And I must say, I am a big one for complaining about the state of London. I mean...
Do you feel safe in London?
No, I don't. If I have jewellery on, and I'm on the tube, I'll hide it. If you look on the BBC News page, which is Crime in London this week, it's just like a majority of the stories of violent attacks, stabbings.
And just to read some of Sadiq Khan's record here, theft is up 31%, robbery is up 58%, sexual offences up 43%. He's a complete failure, Benjamin Butterworth, and yet you, I imagine, voted for Sadiq Khan, rewarding his failure.
Who did you vote for?
Well, it's a secret ballot, you see. I mean, look, you know, I do feel sorry for Count Binface, because he spent all those years trying to be the comedy candidate, and then Susan Hall turned up. So it must be so frustrated, because...
But you're rewarding Sadiq Khan's failure, Ben.
You know, what a trash can she was of a candidate. You know, she is someone who I do think was supported by racists and white supremacists.
Oh, for God's sake.
She is someone that endorsed Donald Trump, that opposed Brexit. Nothing in common with Londoners. And on the question of crime, I think not sacking 20,000 police officers and shutting a great many police stations in London would probably not have helped the crime numbers.
So Sadiq Khan is not responsible for anything which we've seen in terms of crime happening in London since he became the mayor of London. Nothing to do with it.
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is that when you sack thousands of police officers and then only very recently hire under-experienced officers, when you close the police stations, you know, Theresa May and the Tories defunded the police. I don't think you should defund the police.
What about over 1,000 nightlife venues have closed since Sadiq Khan was last elected as mayor of London? He's made just 2.8% progress towards a 2026 housing target, and yet you voted for him.
And
crucially, can I just say, exactly, crucially, stop and search is down 44% because he doesn't want to do it. He thinks it's racist. What happens? Knife crime goes up and kids die on our streets.
That's what you voted for.
So, ultimately, you have to take responsibility for that.
Again, actually, the same person that defunded the police also cut down massively on stop and search, and that's Theresa May. She was largely against stop and search. But look, the fact is that, you know, I think the Tories, what you're doing here is saying the voters are wrong, and no party wins an election with that strategy. There has been a swing towards the Labour Party from the Tories.
You just said the voters are racist?
No, I said that people that believe that will have liked Susan Hall, and I stand by what Wes Streeting, the Shadow Health Secretary, said.
I think that was.
But the fact is that, you know, I will say this in caveat to Sadiq Khan: he is underpolling where Labour generally is. I don't think he's personally popular, and I do think, and this is why I think Tories are so pathetic in this election, I do think Sadiq Khan is beatable, and most Labour Party activists and staff in London know that.
I've always said on this show that I've been going to London since I was a small kid, regularly week after week for Arsenal matches, for different things since I was 9, 10, 11. I spent a lot of time in London. I don't live here, thankfully. But London has gone downhill significantly over the past 10 years, 20 years. And if people want to vote for Sadiq Khan and continue the norm, that's fine. Good luck to you. I don't really care because I don't live here. I live in a much nicer part of the UK. But if you want to vote for that guy and you're happy with the status quo, good luck to you. I'm not going to get too excited.
How long will it be isolated to London for? That's the problem.
Well, exactly, yeah, that's the risk.
Right, OK, we're going to have to move that one on, but Rishi Sunak assures me down the line that your fiver's in the post.
Well, thank you.
Crucially, I want to know how your party, the Lib Dems, got on, Albie. Your second biggest council seats.
I think they did better than the Reform Party.
Also, I'm sorry, but your fiver won't buy anything because of the inflation.
All right, right.